Sometimes doing the right thing means being the bad guy. What do you do when you know a teen girl is about to move in with an adult who gives off serious red flags, and no one else seems to care? Am I the asshole for stepping in and saying no? This isn't a simple family feud. It's about protecting someone from harm. Buckle up. This story isn't for the faint-hearted. My name is Jake. I'm 24 years old, and I'm not related to Lisa, but she's like a little sister to me. We've been friends since high school, and over the years, I've become one of the few people she really trusts. Lisa is 17, smart, kind-hearted, and a bit naive. Her family situation has been rocky. Her parents split last year, and ever since, she's mostly been living with her dad, Mark. Mark looks like your typical friendly guy. He smiles a lot, talks smoothly, and somehow manages to charm everyone around him. But there's something about him that never felt right to me. I caught glimpses of things that made my stomach twist. The way he'd watch Lisa too closely, or the quiet conversations that didn't add up. I kept these feelings to myself because I didn't want to cause problems for Lisa or make her upset. Recently, Lisa told me she wanted to move in with Mark permanently. She was excited and hopeful about this new chapter, but I was terrified. I knew things about Mark's past that Lisa didn't. I had seen enough warning signs to know that letting her live with him would be dangerous. Now I'm stuck. Do I let her go, hoping she's safe? Or do I step in and risk losing her trust? I chose to step in. But was I wrong? One afternoon, Lisa called me sounding both excited and nervous. She told me her dad, Mark, had offered for her to move in with him full-time starting next month. He said it would be better for her. A fresh start, more stability, and even a new school nearby. Lisa was thrilled and wanted my opinion. At first, I tried to keep my voice steady, but inside, alarm bells were ringing. I asked a few cautious questions, but Lisa brushed them off. She said, "He's changed. He just wants the best for me." I wanted to believe her, but I couldn't shake the uneasy feeling growing in my gut. That night, I went over to Mark's place under the pretense of helping with some repairs. Watching how Mark acted around Lisa made my skin crawl. He hovered close, his smiles a little too tight, his words carrying an edge Lisa didn't notice. I felt like I was watching a predator circling his prey. I left early that night, heart pounding, struggling to convince myself I wasn't imagining things. But deep down, I knew I had to do something before it was too late. The thought of Lisa moving in there without anyone looking out for her was terrifying. Over the next few weeks, I kept an eye on Lisa and Mark. I noticed little things that didn't sit right. Mark often tried to control where Lisa went and who she talked to. When Lisa mentioned plans with friends, Mark would casually dismiss them or guilt her into canceling. Lisa seemed confused but didn't push back. One afternoon, Mark made a comment that chilled me. He said, "You know, people don't always understand how close families need to be." His tone was off, too intense, too personal. Lisa laughed it off nervously, but I caught the hesitation in her eyes. There were moments when Mark's hand would linger on Lisa's shoulder a bit too long. He'd invade her personal space, and when Lisa shifted uncomfortably, Mark would smile like nothing was wrong. Every time I saw these small things, a knot tightened in my stomach. I started questioning myself. Was I just being paranoid? Was I reading too much into a man trying to reconnect with his daughter? But then a friend confided that Mark had a reputation for crossing boundaries. Stories about him that no one openly discussed. I wrestled with the thought, do I risk everything by confronting Lisa, or the family? Or do I stay silent and watch from the sidelines? The more I observed, the clearer it became. This wasn't just normal father-daughter behavior. Something was very wrong. The unease kept gnawing at me until I couldn't ignore it any longer. One evening, I sat down with my laptop and decided to dig into Mark's past. I searched public records, news archives, and social media, hoping I'd find nothing, but instead, I uncovered something chilling. There were old court documents linked to Mark, allegations from years ago involving inappropriate behavior with minors. Nothing recent, but enough to set off red flags loud and clear. Some of the charges were dismissed due to lack of evidence, but the pattern was unmistakable. There were whispered rumors online, too, from people warning others about him. I stared at the screen in disbelief, my hands trembling. How had I missed this? How had Lisa's family trusted him with their daughter? My stomach churned with a mix of fear, anger, and sadness. The thought of Lisa living under the same roof with someone with that kind of history was unbearable. I replayed all the little moments I'd noticed before. The lingering touches, the controlling behavior, the tense atmosphere. Suddenly, everything made sense, and I felt sick to my core. This wasn't just a gut feeling anymore. It was real, and it was dangerous. I knew I had to do something. The next day, I arranged to meet Mark alone under the guise of a casual chat. I tried to keep my voice calm, but my heart was pounding. I brought up my concerns gently, talking about the changes Lisa might face and how important it was to ensure her safety. At first, Mark laughed it off, brushing my worries aside like I was some paranoid fool. "You're reading into things that aren't there," he said with a smirk. "I've changed. I'm a good father now." When I pressed harder, mentioning the rumors and old allegations I'd found, his expression darkened. He accused me of trying to ruin his relationship with Lisa, calling me jealous and controlling. The conversation quickly turned hostile. He raised his voice, insisting I had no right to interfere in their family matters. "You don't know the whole story," he snapped. "You're not going to come between me and my daughter." Despite my pleas and attempts to reason, Mark refused to acknowledge any problem. He warned me to stay out of it or face consequences. Walking away from that conversation, I felt more helpless than ever, but I couldn't give up. Lisa's safety was on the line, and I had to find another way to protect her. After the confrontation with Mark, I was stuck in a nightmare of indecision. Every time I thought about Lisa moving in with him, a cold dread wrapped around me tighter. I was torn. On one side, loyalty to Lisa and her family, the friendship I had with them for years. On the other side, a moral obligation I couldn't ignore. I kept thinking about Lisa's safety, her future. If I stayed silent, would I be responsible if something terrible happened? But if I spoke up, I risked ruining relationships, creating drama, and maybe even losing her trust. I considered reaching out to Child Protective Services or the police. But what if they dismissed my concerns? What if it took too long and Lisa was already living there by then? The thought of waiting made my stomach churn. Every option felt like a gamble, and the weight of the decision crushed me. I wanted to protect Lisa, but I also feared becoming the villain in everyone's eyes. Still, deep down, I knew I couldn't stay quiet. So I made the difficult choice to tell Lisa, to let her know what I'd found, and give her the chance to decide. I invited Lisa to meet me at a quiet cafe, somewhere she'd feel safe. My voice trembled as I gently told her about Mark's past. The allegations, the warnings, everything I'd uncovered. At first, she was stunned, her eyes wide with disbelief. "Are you sure?" she whispered, her hands shaking. The girl I'd known for years suddenly looked so fragile, scared. She told me she'd never seen anything wrong, but hearing it all laid out was terrifying. I could see the confusion battling inside her. Love and trust versus fear and doubt. After a long pause, she pulled out her phone and called her grandmother, the one adult she trusted most. Together, they talked about what to do next. Within days, the plan for Lisa to move in with Mark was canceled. Instead, arrangements were made for her to stay with relatives while her family figured things out. It wasn't a perfect solution, but it was a lifeline. Lisa thanked me quietly, her gratitude mixed with relief and sadness. I knew the road ahead would be rough, but for now, she was safe. As soon as word got out, everything exploded. Mark was furious. He accused me of tearing the family apart, of lying and meddling where I didn't belong. He lashed out on social media, painting me as a jealous troublemaker trying to sabotage his relationship with Lisa. Many family members and friends chose sides. Some believed me, quietly thankful I'd stepped up, but others blocked me, stopped talking, and even spread rumors to discredit me. The backlash stung deeply. Messages flooded in, some angry, some sad, and others pleading me to drop the issue. I felt isolated, confused, and full of guilt. Had I overstepped? Was I really the villain here? At night, I lay awake wrestling with doubt. But then I thought about Lisa, about the fear in her eyes, the weight lifted off her shoulders once she knew the truth. I reminded myself that protecting a child's safety had to come first, no matter the cost. Looking back, it feels like my whole world flipped upside down in a matter of weeks. I went from quietly worrying in the background to being the center of a huge family storm. I told Lisa the truth about Mark, canceled the move-in plan, and watched everything fall apart around me. Sometimes I lie awake wondering if I went too far. Did I overstep? Should I have kept my mouth shut and let things play out? Maybe I ruined years of friendship and trust with one brave decision. But then, what if I hadn't stepped in? What if something worse had happened to Lisa? I feel like I've lost so much. Friends, family support, peace of mind. And I'm scared that I'm the villain now. I'm struggling with guilt and doubt every day. I want to protect Lisa, but at what cost to my own life? I'm here asking you, Reddit. Am I the asshole for exposing Mark and interfering in Lisa's living situation? Did I cross a line, or was I doing what anyone should do to keep a child safe? I need to know if I acted out of line or if I did the right thing, no matter the fallout. Let's break this down with some brutally honest butthole ratings. OP, 0 out of 5 buttholes. OP showed courage and a clear sense of responsibility. Protecting a vulnerable teen outweighs potential social backlash any day. Mark, the adult figure, 5 out of 5 buttholes. His history and behavior were major red flags ignored by those around him, putting a child at risk. The refusal to accept accountability adds to his score. Lisa's parent, 3 out of 5 buttholes. Dismissing concerns and defending Mark was a serious mistake, but their denial isn't uncommon in emotionally charged family situations. Still, they should have prioritized Lisa's safety. In situations like these, silence is complicity. OP did the hard, necessary work to protect the child, even when it meant becoming the family pariah. It's painful, but it's the right choice. The key takeaway? When it comes to a child's well-being, It's better to be cautious and speak up than to bury your doubts and risk irreversible harm. So no, OP, you are not the asshole. You did what needed to be done, and that takes guts. The rest of the family needs to wake up and put the child's safety before their pride.